Welcome to the NWR Resources Conference. You're watching in November 2020. On the line, we have Manganese. Manganese aims to produce manganese from its existing Czech manganese resource near Prague by reprocessing tailings from a historic mining operation. The project hosts high purity manganese in the heart of Europe. Upon commissioning, it will be Europe's only primary producer of high purity manganese, which is in high demand from the European battery metal sector. On the line, we have Marco Romero. Marco is Manganese's president and CEO. He is an entrepreneur with nearly 40 years of experience in technical services, mining, and construction materials industries. He has held leadership roles in exploration, mine planning and operations, permitting and finance, as well as project and corporate development. As always, if you have any questions for Marco and the company, please just drop them in the chat function. Over to you, Marco, with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Laura. It's good to be back with NWR. I am going to walk you through an abbreviated corporate presentation today, largely to update those of you who have been following us, but also to introduce those that know us perhaps a little bit less and that don't know much about the high purity manganese business. I'll start by pointing out that manganese has extraordinary electrochemical characteristics, which are in feature in a multitude of electric vehicle batteries. In fact, every one of the cars that you see in the motorcycle that you see on this photo, on this slide, contain manganese in their batteries. And I'm happy to also throw in Tesla Model S here, who we expect will soon begin featuring manganese in their batteries. Our Chvaletice manganese project is a man-made deposit. It is located in the heart of Europe, and we believe it's Europe's only realistic opportunity for large-scale high-purity manganese production. These are critical battery raw materials. The project entails recycling waste. It's not a mining project. It's very much a processing or reprocessing project, taking waste with none of the impacts of hard rock mining, and very importantly, without the generation of new waste. And a great benefit as well here for the Czech nation and local communities is that this is a polluted site, which we expect to remediate and leave in better condition than it is today. Those are important aspects of this project that make us unique in the world. I have to show you this. It is a cautionary note telling you that we are going to be talking about the future, and the future is very difficult to predict, but we will do our best. We also have to point out that we are complying with Australian as well as Canadian securities and disclosure regulations, and all that information is available on our website as well. I'll quickly run you through what I believe are the key facets of the Chvaletice project. One of them is that the market for high purity manganese is set to be transformed. It is growing very rapidly on the back of lithium-ion and electric vehicle markets growth. And this is not an easy business to get into. There are significant barriers to entry into this business. It's very difficult to produce the very pure products that are required to achieve high performance and safety in batteries. And I can say that because of our focus on purity, because of our European location, because of the environmental attributes of this project, we've experienced a great deal of customer interest in what we're doing. And the company has already been building strategic commercial relationships. More about that later. This is truly a strategic source of high purity manganese for Europe and for the world. Today, about 93% of the high purity manganese processing takes place in China. And there is very little in terms of alternatives for these products. We represent an important new primary producer opportunity for high purity electrolytic manganese metal, which we call HPEMM, and high purity manganese sulfate. The project is blessed in so many ways. Its Central European location is fantastic, in close proximity to a multitude of customers. But importantly, the project enjoys extraordinary infrastructure. We have rail, highway, a gas pipeline, water, and competitively priced power available right on site, which helps us tremendously in bringing down the cost of getting this project into production. We control industrially zoned land adjacent to the deposit for the plant construction. That is an important element and not to be underestimated. The Czech nation, Czech Republic, is a sophisticated European Union country with clear rule of law. It's business friendly, and we have enjoyed a great deal of assistance and support. We even received a 100 million euro tax incentive package from the Czech Ministry of Industry and Trade. And again, this is a strategic industry, and we're at the heart of it. It employs directly and indirectly over 14 million people in Europe, and this is an industry that's strongly committed to electrification. So we're in an excellent location for all this. Our deposit, like I said, is man-made. This is the waste from a former mining operation that ran between 1951 and 1975, where a large deposit of manganese accumulated. It's important to note that this deposit was never mined for manganese. The manganese was really thrown away. There was never any attempt made at recovering it. So this is our first chance, and we're able to get very good recoveries of the available manganese on this deposit. It's carbonate ore, which is also very important. It does not require any reduction process, no roasting, unlike the vast majority of manganese ores in the world, or no chemical reduction. It can be dissolved directly as is. And we built a pilot plant in 2018, in which we were very successful in producing extraordinary quality products, meeting all the known customer specifications. Again, it's also important to stress that this is not mining, this is waste recycling. And that's incredibly helpful in permitting a project like this in Europe, where mining has always been a challenge given the density of population. We have good permitting momentum. We've completed our environmental baseline studies and have filed in June of this year our EIA notification project description, which is the beginning of the permitting process. We have a clear development plan. The pilot plan confirmed our ability to produce these products. Now we're going to scale that up 7 times by building a new demonstration plant, which is intended to deliver large multi-ton samples for customer supply chain qualification. And we announced recently that that would be our top priority going forward. Finally, there's been a remarkable team built around this project. We've been at it for 5 years now, and we've been able to assemble some of the most experienced and skilled minds in the world in high purity manganese production. Everything from plant design, process design, construction design of operations. And on top of that, you have a management team with very strong project management, project development, corporate finance, and execution capabilities. Here's a map I love to show. That little red square you see in the middle of Europe, that's us. That's the Chvaletice Manganese project. And we're completely surrounded by consumers of manganese. All those little blue batteries that you see are all existing or upcoming consumers of manganese. We will be within a very short distance of most of the customers we will ever need. The high purity manganese market, like I said, is growing rapidly. We're seeing a strong adoption, very strong investment going into the battery chemistries that require manganese. And recently we were actually elated, I must say, to hear that Tesla was going to be introducing for a large portion of their vehicles a battery chemistry that contains 1/3 manganese and 2/3 nickel. Given their sales ambitions, their production ambitions, this could absolutely transform the supply-demand balance for high purity manganese. So we find ourselves at a time when demand is coming from all over, not only from Tesla, but from all the major automakers, Volkswagen, GM, BMW, Mercedes. I could keep going, Peugeot, Renault, Volvo. You know, with the potential here to become a significant player in the world scene. And Tesla's plan is actually a validation of our product strategy, because they have reported that they plan to use high purity manganese metal to make their batteries, skipping entirely the sulfate process that the majority of other automakers are using to get the manganese and the other metals, I should say, into their batteries. Our plant has been designed with flexibility in mind to produce metal or to produce sulfate. So we believe we'll be in a very good position here to satisfy customer requirements. I have to keep reminding you that this is waste recycling, not mining. We won't be generating any new waste out of this project. We will essentially take waste that already exists, reprocess it, and then leave it in better condition than it is today. And you can see in that image on the upper right here, the strategic location of our plant. You can see the infrastructure, the rail line. We're right beside a major power station. This is an ideal location to produce these products in many ways. And one important thing is we have a very progressive, very high-end environmental management plan that's being designed and which we plan to implement, including total reclamation of the site with tailings washed and neutralized, sitting on liners, capped and completely revegetated to bring back this polluted site to productive community use. And we believe this is a major collateral benefit for local communities and also for the Czech Republic. So this is a mature project. Like I said, we've been working on it for over 5 years. We've put $25 million into the project so far. We recently raised an additional 12 million Australian dollars, which is allowing us to importantly proceed with our demonstration plant construction, but also to advance our feasibility study, which is ongoing, as well as complete permitting for the project. Excuse me. We have uncompromising technical, social, and environmental standards being applied to this project, and that hasn't been lost on our would-be customers, as well as local authorities and the European Union. I believe we have an important project being designed properly to produce extremely high purity products in the most sustainable way possible, right in the middle of Europe. We see ourselves very much as a strategic alternative to existing sources of high purity manganese. And we see ourselves fitting very well into Europe's circular economy plans. And at the same time, we are developing valuable technical and technological capabilities within Europe in this particular industry. A little quick touch on our demonstration plant. Like I said, this is a 7-time scale up of our pilot plant that we very successfully ran in 2018, and which gave us proof of concept and a confirmation that this project is very much on track. And what we did next is design this plant, this demonstration plant, I should say, with the help of some of the leading minds that we could find in the world. In our case, it's a group we call CRIM, which is the Changsha Research Institute of Mining and Metallurgy in China, which are world leaders in manganese processing, and with support from Tractebel, which is a large European engineering construction group based out of Belgium. We expect that the DP will produce about 32 kilograms a day of high purity electrolytic manganese metal, or 100 kilograms a day of high purity manganese sulfate. And this will allow us to put together these very large samples. They're multi-ton samples for customer qualification. We have already signed 5 MOUs with 5 groups for various applications of these products, and expect more of those to come in the coming months. We've already committed 55% of the capacity of this plant. I'll touch on this very quickly. What we plan to do is complete this demonstration plant, get it operated, complete the feasibility study by the end of 2021, have the final EIA done well before the end of 2021 as well, which is the environmental impact assessment. And there's also some land acquisitions that we have been working on, and to do additional MOUs with the goal of having the project ready for a final investment decision for project financing during 2022, with a goal of being in commercial production by the end of 2024. I wanted to highlight some of the members of our team here: Wenling Sun, Jan Votava, David Dreisinger, Tomasz Hockman, and Thomas Gluck. This is a true powerhouse of experience and expertise in high purity manganese processing. Finally, our company is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange as well as the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture, and we're well funded. We had, as of September 30th, $2.6 million, but we've raised an additional 12 million Australian, or 11.4 million Canadian. And we're in a very good position to advance this project rapidly now. Thank you very much. I'd like to open this for questions now.
Thank you so much, Marco, for your presentation. Got a question around your relationship with the Czech government. How is the relationship there, and are they involved with customer contract negotiations?
The relationship with the Czech authorities has been excellent. They've been very responsive and supportive, I'd even say. I think that's evidenced by this investment incentive package that we secured earlier this year, 100 million euro double depreciation package, which will only enhance the economics of this project. The government is very professional. It's demanding. The standards are very high, and we've been pleased to be able to engage at that level of professionalism.
The share price of Euro Manganese has improved significantly since the start of September. What do you attribute that to, and how do you plan to maintain that level of momentum?
There's been a reawakening, if you want, post all the trauma of COVID-19 in equity capital markets, in refocus on attention of the importance of battery raw materials and electric vehicles. There's just so much going on around the world. And, you know, we had quite a shot in the arm when Tesla announced their new battery, 1/3 manganese, 2/3 nickel. They had never used manganese before. And given the scale of what they're attempting, it really brought a lot of light onto us. We have a great deal to do in the coming year, in the coming months and year. And we believe that the progress that we will make will more than support, I think, a healthy market, or so we hope, for our shares. Certainly, we have a lot of momentum on our side right now.
Yeah, so that positive association has been very helpful, it seems. You've also recently completed a $12 million placement to fund the purchase, installation and operation of a demonstration plant at your Czech project. How is that process progressing?
We'll have more to say about that shortly, but I think the first statement we made is that we will order the demonstration plant immediately. And we very much worked on that basis. There's a lot of activity going on right now relative to the demonstration plant, but also on the feasibility study side. This is now, as you would know in Australia, our definitive feasibility study, or DFS, and it is a beehive of activity right now around that. There's multiple fronts that are advancing at once, with the goal of having it all come together into this effectively a development plan by the end of next year. As well, permitting has been very important. And I can also add a great deal of customer engagement, discussions with the European Union and some of the agencies there. There's quite a lot of activity going on right now.
Yeah, it sounds that way. You've also allocated just over half of the material to be produced by the demonstration plant. Who do you expect to take up the remaining capacity of that?
Look, we're in active discussions with a number of important players in the industry, and these include chemical companies, battery companies, automotive makers, all of whom need high purity manganese. And I think we've captured quite a bit of attention there, and hopefully we'll have more to say on that soon.
So there's several parties who could potentially be interested, and they're quite diverse in nature.
They are.
Thanks for that, Marco. It was great to hear from you today.
Thank you very much, Laura. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.